So I thought I would test out the new iPhone 4's video camera capability by pointing at another new toy. So what I have here is a Wurlitzer 2150 made in 1957. It's a very classic jukebox, and I got it a few days ago, about a week ago, and I started playing with it yesterday trying to get it functional. The mechanics weren't working 100%, but they seem to be working pretty well now. I figured out what it was doing, and it's got about 20 records in it. But it's got very classic 50s styling. I took out all the extra labels and I made some new labels for the records that it came with, because there's just a whole selection of about 20 records or so far. I'm going to fill it with 1950s era and maybe a few 60s. But it's got all that very classic 1950s style. It's beautiful. So right now everything's functional except for the amplifier seems to not be working. And I just need to spend a little time figuring out what's going on there. But in the meantime, it does actually play records. So let's try playing a record. I'm going to put on number S1. And you can see it starts moving. And it's going to load from the side. It loads both sides, as you can see. And since the amp isn't working, you won't hear it unless I open the lid, and you can hear it playing off the needle a bit. That, of course, is Ritchie Valens. Most of the records that came with this jukebox were not really of the period, but there's a few decent ones. In the meantime, I'll get the amp working and I'll fill it with some great records. You can see it from the side a bit. I'll show you the back. So here's what it looks like from behind when it's open. I've got it open since I've been working on it. You can see the mechanism that spins the record is spinning, and you got the carousel for all the records to go into. Down here, these little guys right here are counters, so you can know whether you've got popular records or unpopular records, and so you can keep track of the play count. So if something's unpopular, they could take it out and replace it with something else. Down here is you've got the thing, this is called the selector mechanism. The way this works is you push, A1, and there's a set of solenoids inside. You can see them right there, those little round guys. I'll try and point to one. Like that's the 7 right there. So if you pressed A7, it would go to that 7 first, and then it would look for the section of A's down in this area. And so A7, B7, C7, they would all be in a row. And it would pop one of these up, and then this arm right here would spin until it hits that pin, and then it would start. That would be at the record cylinder carrier up here would spin with it, and then it loads the record from whichever is the appropriate side. Down here you've got the amp. This is the part that's not functional right now. I mean, it works, but it doesn't seem to be putting sound out. I haven't checked into it much. Ooh, I think it's done. It's going to lift the record back up. You get to see that. Okay. At the bottom you've got the junction box. That's where everything connects in and out of. And then over here we've got all the coin mechanisms. So everything's here. It's been set for free play, so you don't have to put any coins in it. I'll probably leave it that way. I think it might be fun to see if it's possible to hook up one of those remote selectors like you used to see in diners, but work on that after I've got it functional. Anyway, that's the jukebox, the 2150 from Wurlitzer.